Okay, it looks like we're live. So welcome back. Today I'm going to be continuing to work on Kano script. So let's take a look. I did work on it a little bit. So there was the issue before with the structs where when we linked with C, it wouldn't work properly, right? So I tried to make this game, right? I was working on a game. And it actually does work now, but it's kind of like a bad thing, right? So you can see it does follow the camera now. I didn't go beyond that, but it was supposed to work like this before, but it wouldn't follow, right? So we just go. And the issue for that is quite interesting. So, the way I had to declare the structures, it looks like this. So, basically, each one is a pointer. So, each structure is a pointer. It's allocated on the heap. It is not stack allocated. So, when we have pointers to other ones, it is not the correct size, right? So, even, let's see. So, if I declare it like this, it's basically as though it were stack allocated in the way that it is laid out in memory. So, I'll try to explain it the best I can. Regulated.h. So let's go to camera 2D. So you can see these are not pointers to structs, but rather the structs themselves. So when I was trying to read from it, it was not reading properly, and that caused some issues. So these are actually values that are stored in there. So it's laid out the same way. But obviously that could become quite a problem. Quite a problem if you were trying to declare structs that were sort of more nested than that. So I need to figure out something else to do with the structs. Specifically for linking with C. I'm trying to say and but I'm still saying it. So pretty much, I'm gonna maybe. I think this has helped me realize that I need to work on the language more before I try to link with C. Yeah, I think there's more important things that could be worked on. There's also a lot of trash in here. Let me leave all the whatever. Okay, and the VG core. So I think today I'm gonna work on structs, or not structs. I'm gonna work on comments because there's no comments yet. I think that would be a good idea. And then I'm gonna work on cleaning some stuff up. So I have some ideas for how that would work. I need to revamp a lot of things, how they work, because it is not great. Not exactly great. So let's start in the front end. This is really just in the lexicon. We just want to basically ignore it when we encounter a double backslash. Right. This is a single backslash, but when we encounter a double, or not a backslash, but that one. Ayo moment for real. How you doing, Cactus? What's up? How's your day been? It's actually a forward slash. I'm just a little stupid. Yeah, so when you count two of those, it's gonna be a comment. So it's gonna be C-style comments, I think. I think that's all right. Those I prefer those really. I think to like Python, they've got the pound sign, number, whatever. Um, right, and then there's also like the assembly style, which I could do that, but I think I'll stick with the slashes. So we can just do that here. So if it's an operator, right, we don't want it to be an operator token, so we need to check it before we call this, right? So this is going to be in the lex right here. This is a bit messy. I do need to clean it up a bit because I've improved much as a programmer. What is this about? Oh yeah, okay. I also need to run a formatter on it. I need to start doing that with all my projects. That is a good idea to do. Okay, here we go. So generate string. Ooh, so this is yeah, okay. That's actually not the right thing. Let's see. It's been very lazy. Haven't done anything. So last day on the seaside in Tuscany. Tuscany, is that how you pronounce that? Tomorrow I'm going to go to Pisa, take some pictures of the falling tower, and then you go home. But you've been very lazy. Well, that's going to be cool. The tower. Tower of Pisa. I've never been outside of the United States, so I haven't seen any, like, running water, sorry. Tuscany. Yeah, yeah. I get that. But did I pronounce it right? I'm not good at pronouncing things. Yeah, so I'll just add one for the slash. Yes, W. Let's go. Slash. And I will do this so that it is consistent. There we go. So we just need to check if the next one is a slash as well. But actually, that could cause some issues. Now I'm not thinking about it. Because if we do that, then that messes up the operator thing. So we need to. Let me check. Where do we check if it is an operator? So that's in here. So we can check after that. Yeah, like how we do with this. So let's go up to is operator. is operator. Let's see. Slash. So if is operator, then create operator. So the is called first, but this is not. Yeah. So case this, and it's not an equals, or it's not another slash after that, because if it isn't, it's a comment. Right. Yeah. So I'll put it here and do it like this one. So if view.when data 1 and view.data1 equals slash, we can really just we don't have to return false each time. We can just skip over this and return false at the end. Get break and get rid of that, and then it will just return false by default. And then this can be, the next one is not that, then we'll return true. Otherwise, yeah, there we go. That should simplify that a bit. So I should check that, and then when we call is operator, right in here, and then we can check right after that if there is a slash. There is a slash. If you look at your GitHub, it's very empty in September. The new grade started, went on vacation, now you need to get back to studying. It's going to take a week or two, and then you come back to coding. Okay, I can look at that. Mine's kind of empty because I've been busy with stuff as well. September. Yeah, not a whole lot there. There is some stuff. Minecraft W. Oh yeah, definitely much empty than the months prior. So yeah, so let's just check if the next one, if it's a equals that. So at this point, we already know that the next one is going to be another slash. So we don't really need to check it. So I'm going to add a comment. Already know that it's operator. That is another slash. So we can assume this in this block, right? Something like that. And then we just need to ignore until a new line. So while view.data is not equal a new line, we can just continue. But then when it is a new line, we do want to consider the row. So also there is some mess. It is a little messed up with how we report the lines, so that needs some work as well. Chocolate. Right, we want to do that until the next one. Well, view.when is greater than 1. Started reading crafting interpreters. Halfway through reading his Java implementation of the language, running Java and C to show the main differences, right? Why's pros and cons, and you enjoy it so far. Ooh, okay. I thought the first part was, right, like it's not the same thing written in Java and C, but it's the first part was written in Java, and that was like the interpreter, and then the second part was written in C that had a virtual machine. Or is it, he wrote it in both languages? I thought that's what it was, but I guess I could be mistaken. I guess if you're actually reading it. We're the one because we want to check the next one. We got data 1. Yeah, so the next one after that is on new line, so we can just continue after that. And we just ignore it, and that should be pretty much it, I think. There's some issues. Statement may fall through. Yeah, now they all say they fall through. So that, I do want it. Well, I don't want it to fall through, do I? This is the wrong place. Hang on. It's right up here. Yeah, so then... I don't really need the default case. I know, there we go. Alright, 447. Yes, okay. So would you say it's worth a read? Because I've been trying to get into reading books. Java interpreter is actually the thing you imagine when you say interpreter. It just reads the source code and executes it. Say the C1 is virtual machine, which yes. Right. Yeah, actually I've read through some sections of it. For the virtual machine part, because of the virtual machine that I made, right? Which I'm actually writing the language for right now. Yeah, but would you say it's worth a read? Right, because I might check it out. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't. I read like I said, some parts of it, but I've also been reading this one. I just started it yesterday, so I'm you know not very far in, but this one, Clean Code, W book. Yeah, I'll talk about it once I'm done. Definitely worth a read. It's free to read if you. Yes, yes, I'm aware of that. Very good. All right, where's the issue actually? And we need to do it. I may check it out then. Let's just we have this test Kano here. I'll get rid of this stuff because it's for testing purposes. So I'll just have a write called write test with a one, and that should work like that. Okay, and then we should have a comments. This is a comment, right? And it does actually do that, and it gets stuck forever. W. So if you chop, oh yeah, I need to do view equals view chop it up, right? It's not a pointer, so because otherwise it was just looping forever. Yeah, I'll check it out after I finish the clean code. Okay, so that seems to have worked, and it doesn't seem to have caused any issues. So if I do this, it seems to work. So I can do comment, comment 2, and let me try to do like something like this. So I need to declare variables again. Int equals 12, and then declare it here. Let's see, I'll exit with X. I think that makes sense. There's a null-byte. That's something to do with Kano, which I need to fix. Actually, it might not be Kano. Yeah, it actually is an issue with this. Because of how it reads it, right? Test. Okay, and that does work, and it exited with the correct text. So that seems to work, and there's no conflict, so it seems to parse as a comment. So that's a W. Lexit, rather. Like it also because it's easy to read for me, a person who has difficulties reading books in English, right? Too many fancy words, and multilingual head doesn't understand. Really, because it's all about programming, about something you're confident in knowing things about. Yeah, for sure. The parts that I read through didn't seem to have too complicated language either. Like anyway, because like there's some books where it's like they use very extravagant words, right? Very complex words. Add comments. I'll push that. I will push that. Yeah, and I'm gonna open it up actually quickly. Web, read now, W. Let's just go to a random part and see like what was there. Taking a while to get there, but finally control flow, right? That's pretty simple stuff. JVM, right? Yeah, like it's pretty like not complex words, right? And yeah, words that are like maybe a little bit more complex, like they're programming words, so you're familiar with it, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. That's a W. This is funny enough. Truthy and falsely. Skips over. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely read that. I think it would be useful, especially for my language, because there's some stuff that I need to learn more about. In maybe even the parsing stage, like I think I get the rest of it, but the parsing, it's always confused me just a little. It's not that complicated, but there's just some parts that, really with the grammar, I suppose, is the most confusing part to me. 1984 by George Orwell. After reading the first 3 pages, you got yourself with the thought that you may need to practice something similar. Yeah, that is for sure different kind of thing. Don't know if I've read that. I wonder if there is something I can look at it online. There's the summary PDF. Maybe I'll get a virus. Is this the book? Seems to be the whole book. Okay. Yeah, don't go to that website or whatever. I don't know if it's legal to distribute that. When it was written. Cool book from what I've heard from other people. Yeah. Yeah, obviously this is going to have some bigger words. Right, it's just a start. Yeah, for sure. Whoops, I don't want to push. Okay, let's see. So now I'm gonna work on some of the parsing stuff because there's some stuff I could do to that, I think, to make it a bit better. So it's actually in the same file. I need to probably change some things with that. Let's do parse expression. What do we have there? Where's the parse expression, the actual function? Because I want to move some stuff from where it's currently at in parse expression to there. All right, well, maybe that's not. Actually, what's it called? So parse expression 1. Right, what is this one? This is parse primary. There we go. So yeah, I want to move some stuff into here because it could be considered that, right? Which I kind of didn't understand. To get confused with parsing, by the way, especially with the expression parsing with the recursive descent parser. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I think the most confusing part for me is the grammar programming language. Like how it's declared, you know? Actually, I think I can find it in the crafting interpreter's book. Because I think I saw something about this when I was doing some research. Can I find it though? Perhaps not. Give me a second. I just gotta find it quickly. Right, like how it's sort of like declared is the part that always like before, not even programming, but then that and then the structure of that is built into the program, right? Okay, I can't find it. I think this is the wrong section. Let's go here. I guess I could move that over here. I think there's maybe not. Like, I thought I remember seeing something towards the beginning, but maybe I'll find it somewhere else. It's kind of flashbang over here. Yeah, like with the statement, expressions, that kind of thing. Yeah, like this. So this is actually not program language. But like the grammar for a regular language. This kind of confused me, you know, like how sentence contains these and then these can be any. Like I get it, but actually declaring it for like a whole language confuses me, right? If that makes any sense, which it might not. Like here, program, statement, statement. Right, so this is sort of the layout of it, which it makes sense, right? But I don't know why it just trips me up when I try to write one out myself. And I didn't really do that with this language, so it created some problems. Like I didn't pre-plan, I just kind of made it up as I went along. Yeah, but so some stuff can go here. So we have field, which this needs to be revamped actually, because right now not can't do this. So if you have a struct, let's just pretend it's a struct. So this is a struct, right? You can't do dot x, and then if that x is if that is another struct, then you can't do this, right? It won't parse this. It doesn't know what to do. So that is an issue, and also can't generate it from that. So I need to fix that, which I'm not going to do yet. And a lot of the stuff I need to work on off stream because it's kind of not the most interesting. No problem with this. You have problems with making the code translate it. Yeah, I have like the opposite kind of like I can write it in the code, but I can't. It's kind of like I can get it more practically, but not theory. You know, if that makes any sense. Which I do. I think yeah, that's sort of like my weakness is I'm not very good at theory in a lot of ways. Like I can visualize things, but then I don't know. It's just tougher for me to learn, I guess. Let's go to where we parse reassign left. See, this I don't think needs to be that complicated. I feel like it could all be a lot simpler than this. But in here we have some other stuff. So we have ident. We do some stuff here. And this, I don't think it needs to be that much. So I'll go through off camera and try to, like this could probably, I mean this is pretty concise, but some of these things could be shortened, I think, a lot. I don't remember exactly the layout either, because I haven't looked at it too much recently, because I've been working on the shell. Array index, what is that? Yeah, so I parse that differently. That's interesting. Function declaration. Function call, so that could be, is that not an expression? No, so this is in, yeah, so this is like weird part of the parsing that I had here. So if you try to do a function call and it returns a struct, and you try to do a dot, it will assert false, because that's not implemented. So that's the thing. Right. would say that you're the opposite. You are the theory man in any science, study math from math to computer science. When things come into applying theory, I know, I may get confused. Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's like the opposite. Mm-mm. Right. So I'm trying to see the stuff that I want to move into there. If and that has a condition. So that's not going to be an expression, right? And that makes sense. Well, I need to implement for loops as well, because you know for loops, and that shouldn't be that complicated, because I have most of the structure there. Someone gave me a random sub on a random channel, and now you can spam these emojis. Bro. I got a sub one time on the Milky channel. I mean, you're probably familiar. He is. What is this? That is interesting. And now I'm talking. I can hear myself talking. Yeah. I wasn't even watching it, though. It just kind of... It was interesting, yeah. I wonder if I am lucky or the channel owner just gives free subs to random guys he finds. Maybe. Who is this? I've not heard of this person that has the things. Oh, it's not a very big one. Okay. Built-in. What is the deal here? Right, so what is going on here? I need to figure that out. Neither am I. Bruh. So you weren't following? Token type string. So this, and then it could be a built-in. Expression statement. What does that mean? I don't know why this is the case. Really? So you can... I didn't know you could give subs to someone who isn't following. Right, and this is all, like, it shouldn't be there, so that makes sense. In some ways. Oh, Twitch one day and Sally got a subscription. Bruh. I didn't even know that was a thing you can do. That is interesting. So the struct, that's not an expression, so that is different. There are expressions in there, though, right? Well, variable declaration, and that's... Well, a variable declaration could be an expression, so that might be a good thing to turn into an expression. Right, because you sort of have... You have the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Right, yeah, I think that makes sense to be an expression. So that should probably be moved in there. Function declaration should be separate. Indexing an array. Is this not an expression? Or is this for something else? Right, this is sort of in the if. It's a little messy here. So we parse the variable declaration, but that could just be parsing expression. Right, so if we encounter... Well, actually, that might be complicated based on how it is set up. Because you have to look ahead. Right, because I don't have a keyword like let or var or whatever, or even a type. So that might be why it's actually supposed to be like that. So I'll need to look into that. Yeah. Is array. Yeah, see, there's a lot of if statements here, and then I changed up based on that, and that's kind of icky. Here's a parser, and that should declare this. That's fine. There's expression, append that. So what is this? So what is the if block here? So if is array, right? So this is the variable declaration. Right? If it is an array, and the type does not equal type string. Right, so this is all in the case ident. So this we have an identifier. So that's like the, let's say we're declaring something. So it'd be like AC equals 12, like that. We're declaring like that. So we're in there. And then the next token, if it's a colon, we know it's a variable declaration. And then this is within there. So we're in the variable declaration. if it's an array and it is not a string, right, then we can index it, I suppose. Something like that. Else, if it's a struct, we do different stuff. And then the other else that we have is just if it's anything else. We parse the expression, so that is the value of it, basically, is what that is there. And then this is a separate thing, so is in function. Right, this is an interesting error message. We're setting the function to that, okay. Otherwise, it's just a regular variable. So that is a thing. Inspired by the book we discussed and started writing a transpiler from the last language, the language author influenced in the book, to JavaScript. It's written in C++. Wanted to have something that can perform well and have OOP patterns so I can follow the book more easily. That makes sense. So yeah, C++, that makes sense there. But to JavaScript, that's an interesting choice. I guess, is it JavaScript really similar to locks, to the language? So is it? So this is else. So this is if it is not a colon, so it's something else. Then could be a reassign or a field reassign. That should be the same thing. So yeah, so this should definitely be changed. No, I just wanted to make it a joke. Oh, okay, that makes sense. W. Array index. Okay, so I get the structure now. It does make sense, but it's a lot more stuff than it needs to be, and also I think it's kind of right. Going back to the variable declarations, I think that is sort of the problem, right? That causes this issue. So that's sort of a big thing, which I don't know. I'll need a plan before I can actually change that, because I need to consider how that would interact, right? If we are looking at it, we're parsing the expression, because if I wanted to make an expression, we need to consider that, and I need to consider all the possible things. So let's maybe look at the back end. It's going to be kind of just a reading the code stream to refamiliarize, and then I'll do some work off stream, and then hopefully be ready to add new features by the next stream or one after that, perhaps. On this, I might do some more Kano shell before that. Right, this is actually not too bad, right? We gen all these. There is some parts where it gets a little confusing. Mostly to do, again, I think going back to how it was set up before, because it's not everything that should be an expression is. And then I had to handle things separately without some of the structure. That's some of the structure that should be there, basically. Never tried C++ before, and I thought it was more similar to C. I was disappointed because I don't actually manage the memory. I just use unique pointers, which get deallocated once they aren't used. Well, you can use it just like C. Like you can just write C code. I believe they're called smart pointers, not unique pointers. Yeah, that's it. I've heard of those. They get deallocated once they aren't. So how does that work? So it's like, wait. So it's like garbage collected? Wait. I haven't really looked into it much. We can just write it like C, right? And just have classes or whatever. Smart pointer. Let's see. That's probably not a good. Should I read this one? Microsoft Limit. If it's Lightning. Okay. So raw pointer. Right. This makes sense. And you have to delete it. Unique pointer. So it is unique pointer and smart pointer. That's interesting. Song. Why is it both? Why is it called unique pointer, but it's called a smart pointer? So it's deleted at the end of the scope. So it's like deferred, basically. You declare it on the stack. Oh, and it points to a heap allocated object. Ooh, I see here. Okay, that makes sense. It's declared and it's cleaned up at the end. Right, so it's like if you had another language and you had like Odin or Go or whatever, and you can defer freeing it. So it sort of does that automatically. That makes sense. Okay. So it's not the same as a garbage collector. Which I knew it wasn't garbage collected, but the way it was described. Kinda, yeah. Maybe I should do some C++. I just don't like the bloated languages. I don't know, like not like it's useful to have it, but C++ and Rust kind of are like this, where they have a lot of features, you know? Also has this rusty thing as ownership. In order to use it in a different scope, you need to transfer the ownership to the function or object. Ooh, okay. So it's just C++ trying to be Rust, then? Is that what it is? What is it? Is that what this is? Mm, is there like, ownership? Is there an example of that? Did I go past it? Think so. I haven't tried Rust, so I can't tell you, bro. W? Haven't tried Rust? Goat. Yeah, I should try C++. That is... Okay. That's pointers, right? I know how those work. Explicit. Interesting keyword. What is that? I don't know what that does. What is this? What? I don't... I get the destructor. And the constructor. Where is the constructor? Like touching the bytes with C, I don't need to be kept in a safety box of Rust. True. Love touching the bytes. That's a good way to put that. I like that. Wrapping. Pointer wrapping. So it's just, right. Stack allocated. Classes that wrap a pointer. So you could sort of make a similar thing in C. Can't really, well, you can't really do that, right? Yeah, you couldn't really have something that gets called when it goes out of scope. You have to do that on your own. Well, could you do something with... Yeah, I don't know necessarily you could do exactly that. Smart pointers are more efficient as they have an additional feature of memory management. Right, because it destroys itself when it goes out of scope. They are automatic / pre-programmed in nature. What does that mean? Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I don't know how useful that really is. But I guess I would have to try it out before I could say for sure. But yeah, I like C, like you said. Love touching the bytes. Get very... Yeah, so most of these functions I think are fine. Like, pretty acceptable. This gets a little confusing, but that has to do with connecting to C, and we have to generate C code, which I don't really like. Right, because the way it's handled is I generate C code, I compile it to a shared object, and then dynamically link with that during runtime. And all that happens during runtime, right? And I'm not sure if I like that. So I don't feel as C vibe when I write C++. It feels more like any other language, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, well, it's a lot different, right? It started out to be just extended C, and then it obviously has become much more bloated. And I think it's something about C that it, over time, it hasn't like added a lot of new stuff. Like even the standard library, it's not really not a lot there. And I think that's a benefit to it. Because there's been stuff built around it that you can use. But it hasn't been integrated into the language in the same way that C++ and also Rust is going. And some other languages. And Go, right? Go is a language. I like Go. It has a lot of stuff in the standard library, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot there, right? Like the language itself is simple. Like it doesn't feel like there's a lot there in a good way, is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like, what the heck is this? I feel like Go could be a language that lasts a while. If there's some things that need to be worked on, of course, but yeah, I would be optimistic on the future of Go. And it does feel more like C than something like Rust or C++. Gen expert, right? So this is mostly fine. This I feel like is not, right? We have expert field array. I don't think that should be separate. So I need to, yeah, Again, this goes back to the grammar. I didn't plan the grammar prior to building language, and then we get things like that. I thought that I would read the documentation for a few hours and know most of the things, but when I started digging more and more deeply, I understood how bloated C++ is, and most importantly, you don't understand why. Yeah, for sure. Because there's like new features that are added, like a lot of them, each update. Again, I haven't used it very much, but from what I've seen, there's a lot of stuff added each update, and then it gets sort of like the new way you're meant to do things changes each time, so you have to keep up with it. And then also, there's a lot of different ways to do a single thing, and they all have different use cases as well. Don't like the Go-ish style, but I agree with the standard library. Yeah, but yeah, that's true. I can see how that's not for everyone. I like it though. Let's scope and what is that? Oh yeah, because that's fine. So these things I think are fine. That just has to do with the scope, and that's handled for the generation state. I think a lot of the generation is mostly okay. The problems with it just come from the issues with the parsing. In my opinion, from reading through this right now, yeah, generating variable declaration is not too bad though. Like you saw all the stuff that had to be handled with the parsing of it. So with this, it's not too bad. Generate all the variables. That's just a loop there. Gen program. Right, this is just thing that generates all those. What was this? I would get rid of this because I don't think it's supposed to be there. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not needed. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. It's pretty large, but it is a language. Generate. And this is... What is this? So this is for each of those. We have to generate this to the file, which again, I don't really like. So yeah, I think I want to reconsider how that works entirely. Because we can use DLSyn, that's what I use right now. And that dynamically loads the library, right? But I'm not sure, like I don't know how else it would be handled necessarily. But that's not ideal. We have to generate the code. And then it makes it harder to interact with it. I should look more into how Python does it. Right, how Python, because Python has C types, right? C types, how does that work? Because I don't think it generates C code. It might generate the machine code though. Well, I don't know. Oh shoot it. So it calls load library on the DLL. So it does do that. Okay. I could probably find the functions in the DLLs and then, well, let me look at that DLSyn again. Right, so you call this with the library and it can call a function in there. DLinfo. Contains information about the dynamically loaded object referred to by handle. Is there something I could do with that? If argument is a pointer. Right, so right now it generates sort of a wrapper around it. I can show how it works. It may translate the machine code into the byte code. Remember that Python also has its own virtual machine. True. Yes. Right. The way this works, if I just open the game, for example, so you declare this is the name of the shared object, right? And then you define what each of the functions are like. And then, right, these are the functions in C and the prototypes for them, basically. And then it can know how to call them, basically. And then it generates C code, which I don't have it here. But it generates C code, which is sort of a wrapper for it that interacts with the virtual machine. So, like, it pushes stuff to the stack, pops things off, whatever. And then it generates a new shared object, and that's what it actually links with. So it links to this one, which then links to the original one. Is it relib? Yes. Yeah, it is. It's this right here. Because I wanted to try making a game, but then I ran into some issues with how it works. So we have that, and I want to, yeah, I should read through that. I haven't really read through this, so. Right, but the DL info, what does this return actually? Because I wonder if you can get the information, like the functions that are in there. Can you do that? Like if you could get the functions and their, what's it called? Like the fields and all that stuff, then could you, like, could that be used for the parsing instead of having to pre-declare them? And then perhaps you could interact with it as well. That could be interesting. So there might be something to do with that. Some, like, and that would make it easier to write it. I feel like you still need to declare that though. But I don't like generating the new C code and then compiling, right? Like we can call from it. I think that's fine. If you have to have the shared object, I think that'll be acceptable for an interpreted language like this. I'm gonna go to sleep. I need to check out from the apartment early. All right. Have a good night. Have a good night. Right. This can just call functions directly. So that I need a way basically to transfer the values that are stored in CanoScript to C before calling it an alternative way. So I'll need to look into that. All right, what are the other DL functions? ld.so. I don't know what that is. DL adder. DL info. Right, I don't know what all this means. I can't read it up here. Perhaps there could be some use from this. I'll need to look into that. I won't look into it now. Because I feel like that might be a better way of going about it. But yeah, again, I'm going to work on getting the language itself first, right? And some things could just be built in, right? Because it does have C. So if I go to the 10.8, we already have built in two syscalls, basically. So we have native write, native write, like this, and native exit, which are loaded in here. So I could pre-write some of these for, like, these ones aren't actually loaded. Pre-write some of these for sort of basic things that you would always need, like C standard library functions, basically. And even some things could be written in C rather than the language. Like I could make functions for a lot of things, and it's sort of built in, and it gets loaded when you start up the language, and that might be useful. So it's built into. It'd be faster than if it was written in CanoScript itself. Also, this got a lot messed up. I need to run, like I was saying actually at the start, I need a formatter for sure. Yeah, I don't know what happened here exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, something like that though would be useful to do. And then you just would link with other libraries. All right, this is the end of this. That's pretty less than 1,000 lines. That's not too bad for the generation stage. And there's a lot of large switch statements, so I feel like some of it is repeated though. Right, so I want to think. So the grammar. Yeah, the grammar. I need to write out grammar for the language, so I'll use something. Maybe I can even just use like a text file and write it out for the whole thing, the whole language, all the features that I have now. I'll write them, and I need to learn how that works better. And then I'll translate that into this, because right now it is kind of messy and the grammar is not well defined, and then we get issues, sometimes just random issues. I could try to fix the issue with the null-byte, right? So I think it has to do with tip.h. This is the titanium preprocessor, TIPP. I think it has to do with how I load something here. You create, like, I think there's one extra byte that gets added. And actually might be at the end pass. So it's not too big of a file actually. So it shouldn't be too hard to go through. So this is if it's alpha. Why do we do this? So yeah, we check each word actually. Interesting. Check each word to see if it's part of the preprocessor. Also, I use this hash map. I want to get rid of that. to see if it's part of what's stored in there, any defined things, which actually I don't even know if that works. Does it even work? Might not be. We also import, and this is where it gets some issues, I think. Well, it might not be actually, because if I go here, that's Kano. If I don't have this new line, yeah, we get null-byte 3, 7. So that's yeah, that's this character. So it reads that as a null-byte. And yeah, so the size of the view is one too large, it seems. It's not even an import, it's just passing it through this at all. Append file info, so that's not it. What is this? Oh yes, this is when we import something. Okay. What is this? Append to output. What do I call this? Do I even use that at all? I do not. Okay, yeah, so that is something old, because I replaced it with DA event, I suppose. Pre-pro. So I think it might be when we call this buffer, and then we pass if it is null. So we read it into the buffer. So is there an issue there? Read file to buff. Where is that? We're really reading into a string view. So let's see. Len. So we get the length of the file. Now like that times len, and we read into it, and then we create a view based on that. So that should be fine. Right. So it might actually be when I call it in here. So let's go to the front end. And then, do I call it pre-pro? Yes. Okay. So is it here? File name and 0. So what are the arguments that we're meant to pass there? Pre-pro. Det. Okay, so the current det. Pass. View create. Output data, output count. So does the output count get messed up here? Can I print perhaps up here? Right, so we're not using any of the preprocessor features, so it might get messed up there. If I print the length of the buffer here, all the way here, buffer length, where does it count? I don't know exactly. And then here, buffer result length, rather. If I try that. It does get one large. So that, I think, is the issue. So somewhere in here, we add one, where we should not be adding one. So output gets one too large? Why does that happen? Start here. So len, well, it's greater than 0. Greater than 0. If it's that, then line plus plus. So that, I wonder if I mess up the line there. Right, that might cause some issues actually with reporting errors. I'm not sure. Because I know there's some issues with that. Do chop left. So that should be fine. And none of these should get called, but this one does. So do I do something to the output here? We do append elements and stuff, but none of that should be, because nothing should be in the hash map. So if element, so right, stuff gets appended here. Right, I don't get why we have to set it back. Also, we do it for both, so what if I move it out of here? Why do we do that at all? Where does index get iterated? I'm a little confused how this works, right? I wrote it some time ago, so I'm... Let's see. Less than with the element. Yeah, we could just do that at the end, because it's the same thing, so we can just do that. I'll make sure it doesn't break anything, but then That's better. I need to do this because it's a header file, so it doesn't notice that it was changed. Yes, we still get the null-byte, but that is better. So we should find that. Right, we should not get that called at all. I don't think it does. I don't think that's the issue. Oops. Yeah, so it's not called. So where does it get? Do we do it one too many times? Do I want to do this at the top of the function? Like at the start. Am I breaking stuff that I don't quite understand? Yeah, so that's not quite right, is it? I don't think that's it, but it's something to do with that. So one extra iteration, basically. There we go. So after this, right? Because we could have h's there, so we don't want to append it. Do we want to append it at all, actually? Because we append it here, right? So why do we have to append it at the end as well? I think that is the issue. Yeah, because we append the whole word here. But then we go to the end and do that again. Well, actually, that would cause more issues, I thought. Also, I think I messed it up now because it's not supposed to be that. What was it? What was it? I forgot. I might have it in the clipboard, actually. Yeah, okay. Nope, because I copied that. I'm stupid. I am not very smart. Let's see. So it is... Right? What is with the indentation? Yeah, some of it is tabs, some of it's spaces, that's why. I need to fix it. So I think a formatter would fix that, actually. And to output would be... I want to append it after that? Or do I want to not append it if we go through this? Expected closing. So here it does not close. Right. I should probably print the output so I can keep track of what it is. But, ooh, could it be from this? Well, no, I don't think so. What is the index, actually? So what is that we use? Do we use the index at all? Actually, we might not use it at all, do we? Index equals 0. Where do we pass it anywhere? Index. We have the index there. End of file. So if we have the end of file. Yeah, okay, I don't know that we actually use it. So we might not need it at all. So I don't think that's actually the issue. So I need to go through and revamp this. Because I designed it at one point, and I wasn't very good at programming, to be honest. It was a while ago. I'm still not very good, but anyway. And then and then I redesigned it, but I didn't remove everything from the old design. I just want to break after this, basically. Or continue. Yeah, so it gets a lot shorter there. I'm trying to think, because I don't know exactly why it would be one more than it's supposed to be. Oh, do we not want to append the information here? Now it's one to a field. Right. How does it go? How does it go from that? I don't get it exactly. You create output count. Is it because of that? Is it not supposed to be output count? I'm trying to think. So what if I print the output? Because this is like a string builder kind of thing, right? What is it? Tipster. Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it. But yeah, it's like a string builder kind of thing. So we append to it, and then create a view from it. So what if I try to print it out? I think it's like that. Count data, and this needs to be cast to an integer. And let's take a look. Perhaps. Let's just print out the whole string. Let me print the count as well, actually. Now I'm not thinking about it. Count is that. Right, but now what is it? So it should be 34. It's the same as that. Is 34? Yes. Okay. But it's right at the end that we have that. Then it ends. Because it encounters a... Well, no, I guess it does. So why is there an extra one? Right, it gets created in here at some point, but I don't get where. Recursive import detected. Yeah, there's some other ways I can detect that. That would probably be better. This should not be defined here also. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with this. Read file to buffs, that's not the issue. Buffer len there, pass it into there. Buffer returns that. Buffer is just, it's a string view. Could have a struct for this as well, perhaps, instead of the actual def. So we don't encounter any, so it's not even in there. That's for a keyword. So else if get word could be an issue with that, where we add things to it. We don't use the output. Do we modify the view? Where is that? Get word. Get word. So start equals view. Why do I pass it as a pointer to then do that? I don't modify it. So I don't know why it is a pointer. That's kind of interesting. So that's probably not great. I should change that. Hash map get, that doesn't create the issue. Does this append to me? It's the word len. Is the word size, well, it wouldn't be though. Because then it would be off by more. But this is going to create issues. It works for this one. How is that? Oh yeah, I guess so. But then if I write something else, sometimes it doesn't do that. That shouldn't be an assertion as well. That should be a check. That is print a proper error. Output count. Why would it be 1, 2 R's though? I don't quite understand. I don't know, I'm probably missing something really obvious. That fits it. It might actually. I mean, what if I try a game? So that's a different one as well. Yeah, that still works. Okay. I have a few here. I don't know what this one. Yeah. All right. So that seems to actually work. So we just need to check that. If the length is 0 at this point, it equals 0. And that's like the null-byte, I guess. So we append that. But then, why is there? So does not have a null-byte at the end then? Well, I guess we don't need the null-byte. Yeah, because it's a string. So it's still there because it's the pointer, but okay. I suppose so, but I don't get why it wouldn't say that every time. Do some of the tests, are they broken? It might be. Slash rule, no, is that broken? That is broken. Okay, W. So I don't think that one is. That seems to work. Actually, we're printing out the links. But yeah, it seems to not give any of the errors. Rayleigh.kno doesn't work because you don't have that. Liberated, so that's, yeah, this is the C file that generates that. So I don't know if, yeah, so it looks like this. It's not really meant to be read, but it generates like the structures and things like that. And then the functions where it pops it off. So I feel like there might be a way to do this differently. Perhaps if I had, that could be a thing. I'll need to think about it, because it could be like a structure. But I don't, we have to know what to interpret that. So I don't know, I'll look into that. Yeah, okay. Yes, that seems to fix it, I suppose. I'll commit that. I should go pretty soon. A little bit shorter, but that's alright. So, I'm trying to do more streams, but I've been busy. Let's see, so this is, I have fix issue assessment, where it adds a null byte and unnecessary. Right, it doesn't actually cause a bug, but it just prints out the node, which is not ideal. So, there we go. W's, that worked. And then, yeah, so for the next video, I'm going to write out the grammar for the whole language. So I need to do a little bit of research on how that works, because I don't know why it confused me, but it does. So I need to write that out, and then I'll either write it on stream or write it off stream, right? Once we have the grammar, actually, it's not that hard to implement from there, right? Okay. So that's the plan, right? That is fixed. That has been annoying for a while, and it's kind of funny. So there was that issue with the files where it would add the null byte at the end. But then I also had kno. Sometimes when you save it, it would save an extra byte, and there would be a null byte at the end from that as well. So I thought the issue was with kno, so because I got that with other things as well. So I fixed it, and there was the issue with kno. But then there was also the issue with this. So there was basically the same issue on both of them, where it inserted a null byte as the last character. Yes. That's kind of funny, though. I feel like I should make, instead of frontend.c, there should be parser and lexer. And the backend can probably stay as one. I think that might be okay. Once we get to optimizations, which I don't know how far into that I'll get necessarily with this language. I want to get it to the point, though, where I can use it by December. So that's in like 2 months, right? For advent of code, because I want to use my own text editor, writing my own language to solve the advent of code problems, and maybe even using my own shell, depending on how far kno shell gets. Which Sigma has been working on that, and he's a goat, so making some good progress there. So it's not too far off from being usable. I mean, there's a lot of built-in commits that need to be worked, but it's getting pretty good actually. It's not close to being POSIX compliant or whatever, but it's quite a W, yes. So yeah, if I could use all three, that'd be awesome. Using kno shell, and kno script, all for that. That could be cool. And then eventually, make a terminal, so you have your own terminal, and then a window manager. I don't know how realistic that would be, though. Don't know a lot about window managers. Yeah, I don't know. That'll be fun. But that's going to be about it, I think. So we are up to date, and I pushed it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.